All right, good morning, members of the Elderly and Person with Disabilities Transportation Committee. This meeting is called to order. And before we begin, Chair Dudley's out of the office today, and I'm Vice Chair David Calloway from the City of Mesa, and I'll be facilitating the meeting. And just remember, please state your name when making a comment or asking a question. And now we'll go through the formal roll call of all members. Dee Dee, if you please.
Thank you, Vice Chair, members of the committee. When I state your name, if you can say here. Nina Arredondo, Pinal County.
Present.
Carolyn Ballard, Town of Florence.
Here.
Thank you. Andrew Blanchard, City of Buckeye.
I'm here.
Thank you. We do have Vice Chair Calloway here. Santiago Cornejo, City of Tolleson.
Present. Here.
Thank you. Chair Dudley is not here, and Seth Dyson is not here today. Joan Freeman, City of Scottsdale.
Here.
Thank you. Nancy Jackson, City of Chandler.
Present.
Thank you. Lindsay Post, City of Tempe.
Here.
Stephanie Ringel, City of Phoenix.
Present.
Justin Sheldon, Valley Metro.
Good morning, here.
And Nathan Williams, Town of Gilbert.
Here.
Thank you, Chair. We do have quorum.
All right, thank you, Dee Dee. And just wanted to say welcome to the new members of the committee. Glad to have you all here. And we really do appreciate your time for this process. It can be a lengthy process, but it's very important. And hopefully you find this experience very rewarding. And then moving on to item 2 on the agenda is call to the audience. And MAG does provide the opportunity for public comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda. Informational items or items on the agenda for discussion and not for action. Members of the public are invited to submit written comments via the MAG website. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have been shared with the committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal minutes. And Dee Dee, have we received any comments for a call to the audience?
Thank you, Vice Chair. We have received no online written comments for the call to the audience.
Okay, great. Moving right along here to item 3, and this is the MAG staff report. And this item is on the agenda for information and will be presented by Dee Dee, Human Services Transportation Program Manager. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee. We have seen many changes to the regional section 5310 regional grant application process since 1995, I believe, when ADOT was a designated recipient for the program. Then in 2013, under MAP 21, it allowed regions with populations over 200,000 to choose their designated recipient. And during that time, Regional Council approved the City of Phoenix to be the designated recipient for our program. And just recently, we now have 2 urban areas in our regional application process: the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area, urban area, and now the Phoenix Goodyear Avondale area. It has a Section 5310 program has seen changes and improvements. MAG is also looking at improving our process. I would like to introduce Patrick Stone, Deputy Transportation Director of the Transportation Programming Division, to review some internal changes here at MAG. Patrick?
Thank you, Dee Dee. Good morning, Chair, members of the EPDT Committee. Pleasure to be here. As Dee Dee noted, my name is Patrick Stone. I'm the Deputy Transportation Director over programming, currently in an interim role over the planning. Kind of why I wanted to chat with the committee today, it's been about 2 months maybe back. We did some reorganization within MAG. This is kind of an outfall of a reorganization we had done internally within the Transportation Division. And with that, the Human Services team, Dee Dee and Lauren, have now moved over into the Transportation Division, so they are working for myself. Very excited to have them on board. My team always worked with Dee Dee quite extensively on the 5310 program, so we see a lot of nexus there between the two the two groups. So I think it's been a sort of a seamless integration, getting her and Lauren up to speed within transportation, and then look forward to, the good work we'll do ahead, and obviously some of this impacting the committee. Thank you, Didi.
Thank you, Patrick. And definitely, this is a seamless move into transportation. As you know, or for those new members, our approval process does go through the Transit Committee, and now we're going through the Transportation Review Committee and the TPC and Management Committee, as always, with approval from Regional Council. One great benefit regarding this move is that we now have with us a staff of Woody Miller in the TIP program. So this is such a natural organic change into the transportation division. So thank you. As we make this change into the transportation division, you'll see a lot of our documents and our kind of being more consistent with the transportation side. So we hope internally here at MAG that we provide you with consistent information and consistent documentation. So thank you. I'd also like to say the committee has done such great work through this program. As I noted before, we have taken internally, regionally, the transportation application process since 2013. So 2014 is the first year that we did roll out procured vehicles to the region. The committee, as always, comes back every fall to debrief on the application process. Thank you very much for your time and effort for this great process. We've continued to work on it and try to improve that. And that is being recognized from areas outside of the state of Arizona. We have been contacted from different organizations regarding our application process. We were contacted by Embark Transit Agency and the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, trying to get outline and an overview of how we do our application process, the timeline of our evaluation process, um, and just generally how we organize it and the committee's task at this process. We were just recently contacted by VHB and the Charlotte Area Transit System, also to discuss our timeline, the scheduling regarding this process. And again, we could not do this without the support of the committee. We really value your expertise and your time in this very important program. Also, I just wanted to review a couple of regional activities that we are working on with our sub-regional mobility managers. And the first one is regarding the topic of hiring and retention. At our last transportation ambassador program meeting, we did take a poll to see if our service providers were still experiencing difficulty in hiring and retention of drivers or generally staff. And unfortunately, 6% said they are still experiencing reduction in staff, and they have not really hired fully. So we are looking at this topic of hiring and retention. We did a focus group in September just to talk about what are the challenges and also what are some of the strategies regionally that are working for some of our agencies. It was suggested to do a driver survey to inquire why drivers are choosing the agency that they're working at, why they stay, and what could be improved. We are gathering results from that driver survey, and we will review results at the next TAP meeting on November 19th, which is just a week away. We appreciate everybody that participated. We not only had our nonprofit subrecipients, we had some municipalities participating in the focus group. The other initiative that we're looking at, as I noted, this is about 10 years that we have procured vehicles, awarded vehicles to our subrecipient agencies, and now we are seeing we are starting to see some of those agencies coming to the end of useful life. So we at MAG and our sub-regional mobility managers are looking at the process of vehicle disposal. We want to ensure that we have guidelines that will help our agencies. We are experiencing a few agencies, but we do anticipate quite a few agencies in the near future, I would say 1 to 2 years, of those vehicles that were awarded coming off lien. And we want to ensure that we provide our subrecipients and stakeholders with guidelines that can make this a true transition as the vehicles come off lien. So those are the two really big initiatives that we are undertaking here at MAG regarding our program. That concludes my staff update. Um, does anybody have any questions?
All right. So
Okay.
hearing no questions, Dee Dee, I just have to say thank you. And I mean, this committee couldn't do this work without MAG staff. And I mean, you guys deserve a round of applause for getting the national attention and having this program essentially be carbon copied and, there's interest outside the region. So excellent work to you guys. So thank you very much on that. If there's no additional comments on item 3, we can move on to item 4, which is informational items, and there are none. So there's moving right along to item 5. And this would be the approval of the April 23rd and 24th meeting minutes. And does any member of the committee have any questions on approval of these minutes? Or comments, I should say. All right, so hearing none. And prior to the approval of the meeting minutes, there's an opportunity for members of the public to comment. And Dee Dee, any comments on the meeting minutes?
Vice Chair Callaway, members of the committee, we have received no comments.
Okay, great. So with no comments, we'll need a motion to approve agenda item 5.
I will move. Oops, go ahead. Thanks, Nancy. This is Lindsay Post. I'll make the first move to approve the meeting minutes from April 23rd and 24th.
I will second the motion.
Okay, so we have a motion from Lindsay and a second from Santiago. All right, Dee Dee, this is where I might need your help here. This is a new process. So we'll have those participating in the meeting take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. So we'll need to see faces for this one of everyone to participate in the vote. For those of you who cannot or do not want to turn on your cameras, staff will conduct a roll call vote, and staff will only call on those virtual participants who did not turn on their camera. And members, please leave your camera on until after the roll call vote so that staff can count people's names whose cameras are not on. And with that being said, can I have a voice vote? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye as well. Okay. And any opposed, say nay. Hearing none. And looks like everybody has, do we have everybody with their cameras on, or do we need to do a roll call for some folks?
I would like to do a roll call for Carolyn Ballard. Do you vote?
I'm here. I'm sorry, I don't have a camera.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Joan Freeman,
Aye.
Nathan Williams,
No, I haven't. All right. Aye.
and Justin Sheldon.
Present. Yes, I vote to approve the minutes. Apologies, I'm just leaving an offsite meeting.
Thank you, Vice Chair Callaway. The vote was unanimous.
Okay, great. Thank you. That wasn't so bad. All right. Moving on to item 6, which is fiscal year 2024 FTA 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disabilities application process debrief for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale and Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale urban areas. And this item is on the agenda for information and discussion and will be again presented by Dee Dee. So go right ahead.
Thank you, Vice Chair Callaway and members of the committee. If I could have the next slide, please. I just wanted to do a brief overview for those new committee members here today, and then a review for our continuing members. The Section 5310, Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disability, which is a very long title, is a federal awards program that provides federal funds for capital and operating expenses to recipients for public transportation projects planned, designed, and carried out to meet the federal needs, um, to meet the special needs of seniors and individuals with disability when public transportation is insufficient, inappropriate, or unavailable. And for public transportation projects that exceed the requirement of the ADA, American with Disabilities Act, to improve access to fixed route service, and for alternative public transportation projects that assist older adults and individuals with transportation. The eligible populations are agencies serving individuals age 65 and older, and agencies serving persons with disabilities. The amount that is apportioned, we do receive an apportionment for our 2 urban areas. The apportionment not less than 55% of the funding will need to be awarded to capital project request. This is really traditionally a capital project grant program, and 45% to other capital and operating, less than the 10% for the administration for this program. Next slide. As I noted earlier, we now have 2 urban areas in our region. We do have the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area and the Phoenix Goodyear Avondale area. Each receives their own apportionments. Both of these areas, MAG is a programming and coordinating entity for the Section 5310 program, with the City of Phoenix as a designated recipient. For the rest of the state, ADOT oversees the Section 5310 program. They both are the programming, and they do the coordination of the application process. The EPD committee is the technical committee for this program that develops the priority listing of projects for both urban areas that will move through the MAG committee process for recommendation approval, and then to regional council to approve the priority listing to forward to the City of Phoenix to develop the consolidated application on behalf of the region. Next slide. Phoenix will utilize the priority listing of projects that the committee develops to do the consolidated application to submit to FTA. And they will use the priority listing of projects to follow when final apportionments are available to draw down funding. For the process this year, and I know it was just a couple of months ago, for the 2024 process, there were 27 agencies and 40 project requests recommended to be awarded for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale urban area. And in the Phoenix Goodyear Avondale urban area, there were 5 agencies with 5 projects recommended to be awarded. The priority list was approved to move forward to the City of Phoenix by Regional Council in June, and agencies' award notifications went out in early July. Next, Phoenix Next would work on the consolidated application to FTA. I would like to call on Stephanie Rangel to provide an update on the agency contract. Thank you.
Thank you, Dee Dee, committee members, Chair Callaway. To give an update, we are in the process of finalizing the grant agreements along with scheduling an order date for the vehicles. And we will be applying for the funds here shortly. The tram system, which the FTA utilizes for their grants program actually was shut down for the federal fiscal year end process and just reopened up. So we will be trying to get the grant awarded hopefully by the end of December. We've kind of been told that we need to do that before the change of administration. So we're busily doing all the work behind the scenes in order to get all of our agencies their needed information. So that's what's going on with that. If there's any questions, please let me know and I'll be happy to help. And just so everyone knows, like Dee Dee stated, Wendy has retired from the city of Phoenix and she's now working at MAG. So I will be the contact for any Section 5310 issues that we have within the city of Phoenix. If you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie, for that update. Definitely, we have met internally with Phoenix and Stephanie to review the process of this application process and the role of the designated recipient. So thank you for that update. Um, as I noted, we have doing internally in the region this application process for the past 10 years. As after every process and after we done every application cycle. The committee comes together and we do a debrief and we talk about how to improve the application process, the evaluation process, um, and and just prepare for the next year. After reviewing the evaluation process and staff notes of the previous application cycle, we we normally would bring up items for consideration that we could modify or change for the next evaluation process. We've done some great improvements. Such as, everybody, all of agencies submitting an application to do agency interviews. That has been beneficial. We also put guidelines of a cutoff for evaluation scoring. So agencies would need to, out of 100 points, at, get a minimum of 70 points to move forward for awarding. And that has been very beneficial, just knowing that all of the agencies understand this program and can meet compliances for this. After reviewing the minutes and our staff notes. At this time, we did not find any comments or suggestions for consideration to move forward. But this agenda item is an opportunity for the committee to debrief on the process. So Vice Chair Callaway, this concludes my presentation. I am open for any comments or questions.
All right. Thank you, Dee Dee. And thank you, Stephanie and City of Phoenix staff. It's good to have this level of expertise around here. It's much appreciated. So we do have opportunity for discussion. And Lindsay, I see your hand up if you want to go right ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask what part of the process the state is in right now as far as their 5310 applications.
Thank you, Lindsay, Vice Chair, members of the committee. ADA is they are on a 2-year application cycle, and this is the year that they're doing a call out for the competitive application cycle. So our our cycles pretty much coincide with each other. So it is anticipated they will follow releasing the application in January, just like ours. So we have pretty much the same cycle, but this is the year that they are doing their call out for open competitive applications.
Thank you. I anticipate after this cycle that Stephanie will have certainly some idea of how she wants to move forward with the next round. So you'll probably have some ideas after this, Stephanie.
Excuse me. I've actually been involved in grants for over 17 years. So I actually previously I handled the grant application. Wendy was the person that did this, the committee. So I'm just new to the committee.
Okay.
And so everything else is pretty much the same.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, that's great. Any other questions or comments from members of the committee? All right, seems kind of quiet out there. So just a reminder, this item was for information and discussion. So if there's no additional additional discussion points, let's go ahead and move on to item 7. And item 7 is overview of fiscal year 25 5310 FTA Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Persons with Disabilities Program, MAG Regional Application Process. And this item's on the agenda for information and discussion. And again, presented by Dee Dee. You got a lot of talking to do this meeting, Dee Dee, so take it away.
Thank you, Vice Chair and members of the committee. I will provide an overview of the 2025 Section 5310 application process. If I can have the next slide. Yesterday, I participated in the Southwest Transit Association discussion regarding election results and how it influenced the 2025 apportionments and reauthorization of the Bills Act. Overall, they don't anticipate any major changes. We are coming into the last 2 years of the Bills Act. One of the great things regarding the Bills Act was that they did authorization to later in the year. Normally it would be at the beginning of the year, but for this, under the program and under the Bills Act, it is expected to go to September of 2026. So we have another good 2 application cycles to the end of this legislative act. The 2 key takeaways that I did receive from the discussion is that they, like I say, they currently don't anticipate any major changes to the program. One of the key takeaways is that for the vehicle procurement, they don't expect the prices to decrease now that we're just coming over, the COVID and the supply chains. They expect it to increase, as everything increases, but not to have such a major increase that we saw in the last 3 years where it went, vehicle prices went from 89,000 to 120,000. So we don't anticipate to see those major increases. The other key takeaway is that they do expect that the vehicle production to increase a little bit more and not to have as much of a delay in the procurement of the vehicles. Also, they expect to continue with the Buy America waiver, which means that those vehicles that are available on the procurement are still the accessible vehicles. There was discussion that possibly there may be a change to the Buy America, but they noted that that would take a legislative change, and they're not in that position at this time to do that. So they anticipate just to continue with the waiver of the Buy America. So that was my key takeaways. There was not a lot of discussion about what to anticipate to the program in the coming years. Again, there has been no revisions at this point regarding the grant application process, but it was noted that there was a new federal register that came out on September 27th, just a couple of weeks ago, that they're going to make some revisions to the circular. The last time it was updated was in 2014, and they noted that only it would be high level changes. It's mostly language and formatting to keep it consistent. I think everybody regarding this program is trying to maintain that consistency and clarification. The only major change they saw for this program was in 2015 under the FAST Act, where populations over 200,000 were able to choose their designated recipients. But other than that, there are no really major changes taking place under that. For our evaluation process, the EPT committee will continue to meet virtually. Has noted today, we've gotten such a great response. We've always met quorum meeting virtually. So thank you, committee members. We hope this supports you and continuing to attend our meetings. At the evaluation process that I noted, there are no major changes to the program. So the evaluation process will continue to follow the general schedule that we've maintained since, I believe, it's 1995. And then I will review that schedule. We did talk, City Phoenix and MAC staff did discuss the availability of vehicles. As I noted, they are the administration is going to continue with the biometric waiver. Last year, we did limit the availability of vehicles that we knew we had a procurement contract. And those were the 3 accessible vehicles: the Cutaway, the lift van, the minivans with lift, and the raised roof. By providing this, we know that we will be able to procure these vehicles in a timely manner. It was suggested that we continue providing these 3 vehicles that we know that we can procure. And I just wanted to add a note. ADOT last year did have more of a variety of vehicles that they were having available. I mean, the previous application cycle. They had opened up the availability of vehicles. They are into the second year of their contract when they had their 2-year contract, and they had a few of the subrecipients requesting non-accessible vehicles. And at this time, they are looking to find a contract for those non-accessible vehicles. And they may have to go back, which they've done in the first year of their 2-year cycle, and amend some of those to be able to award the vehicles that they could procure instead of having those agencies wait to see if a non-accessible vehicle would be available. So we thought, just to make this a seamless process, that we would just make available those accessible vehicles that we know we have a procurement contract. Any questions on that one? Okay. As I noted, the applicant interviews will move forward. We will do the applicant interviews virtually. We do 15 minutes of reviewing the application, reviewing the applicants. It is our opportunity to tell about their agency, give a little bit of background. We know that you are reviewing over 40 applications. So this is their opportunity, and this may be their only opportunity to get before a committee to tell about their program and tell about the need. So that will continue to be virtual. Let's see. Next slide. So I just wanted to review the committee schedule for next year. We will have 4 meetings. The first meeting will be in January. We will meet and review the application evaluation process in a little bit more detail. We will provide any updates, and if we hear about any estimations to apportionments for our 2 urban areas, we provide that information at that time. We'll also have an update from our subregional mobility managers just to give you some information regarding the initiatives that are taking and any workshops or topics that they will be covering on behalf of the region. The next committee meeting will be in March 12th. Well, we will distribute all of the applications and we will provide further training for the application process. It is anticipated that the application will be released at the end of January with the due date at the end of February. MAC staff in the city of Phoenix, we do a 2-week internal review of the application to ensure that all of the applications meet federal eligibility and regional threshold. And this is to ensure that when the committee does receive the applications in March, that they are all eligible to move forward for evaluation at that point. The next time we will have an opportunity once you receive the applications and the training for the committee to ask any questions regarding the application that will take place during the later part of March and April, just to get a little bit more clarification and answer any questions that you have. And at that time, we will ask for preliminary scores before we come together again in April 22nd and 23rd. This is a 2-day process. Applicants will come together and the committee will interview all of the applications. On the second day, on Wednesday, April the 23rd, the committee we will summarize all the scores. We'll provide the ranking. At that time, we'll have apportionment information, and the committee will develop the priority listing that will be forwarded through the committee process. The last committee meeting for the end of this application cycle will be the November meeting on the 12th, providing the committee time to debrief on the previous application cycle. So that's just an overview of the committee. Like I said, we do not anticipate any major revisions, but we will always keep you up to date in case we do hear of any changes regarding this. I would just like to add going into the next application cycle, we will be very conservative regarding if we do not hear any estimated apportionment funding amounts. We'll be very conservative in our estimation going into the next year regarding the application process. We did have apportionments for this process at 5.2 million for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area and over 400,000 for the Phoenix Goodyear Avondale area. This concludes my update. I'm open to take any questions.
Any questions or comments from members of the committee? All right. Well, I have a few. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Who wants to go? Nancy, go ahead.
I should have raised my hand. Sorry. Thank you, Chair and Dee Dee and members of the committee. I think my comment and or question is such that I know that when I joined the committee a few years back, they had just done a revision on the evaluation process and the scoring process. And I think that goes really well, but I'm just wondering, do we have a lot of feedback about the application and filling it out from our recipients? Do we have any feedback on if they like the application, if it seems cumbersome? And I guess I kind of brought this up in our November meeting. When I'm looking at what is provided to us to evaluate, I feel like there's some areas where we're getting repetitive information from the applicant, like they're not really sure where to put certain information, which then sometimes it's cumbersome or it's repetitive, or I have to search to try and find the criteria that I'm looking to evaluate on. And so I know, right, overall the philosophy is if it's easier for them, then it should be easier for us to evaluate as well. So I'm just wondering, it could just be me, it could be user error. Maybe I'm just seeing this, or if there was any feedback from our recipients that they sometimes have trouble or think that the application itself could be simplified.
Chair, Vice Chair. Oh,
Sorry, go ahead, Dee Dee, if you want to respond.
oh, I was just wondering if anybody else had any comments. But I can respond to that. Vice Chair, members of the committee, Nancy Jackson, thank you for your comment. We do an evaluation of the application every year. Our rubric does kind of follow the setup of the application, which will go into more detail when we do the evaluation training. But we are always open. We do provide a question and answer sheet for all of our applicants. If we hear a common theme of, a question on filling out the application, we do provide that and we update that every year and then we make that available. But that I will take that into consideration. We do have 2 opportunities for training. We do have an application workshop for the kickoff of the application. And then we have a one-on-one opportunity for applicants to meet with MAG staff and the City of Phoenix staff if they have any questions on their application. But I will take that in consideration when we're looking at doing our orientation for the application and provide maybe a little bit more detail on the application and how to fill that out. But thank you for that comment.
All right, thank you both. Nancy, did you have something else?
Yeah, can I just follow up?
Yeah,
So I think from my understanding, I think you guys do a really good job on answering their questions and trying giving them guidance on the application process and how it works and where to find things. I'm just wondering, as a group, and could we improve on the actual process and make it simpler and easier for everybody? If that's, I think we do well on training them on the current one, but I'm just wondering if it's time to take a look at the application now. That's all I was asking.
We could definitely, Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, thank you, Nancy, for that comment. And I would like to, Stephanie may have some updates regarding that. So I would like to invite Stephanie to add some comments.
Sure, thank you, Vice Chair, committee members. Currently, the City of Phoenix, we are in the process of getting a web-based grant module so that for all of our subrecipients, not just the Section 5310, it would be for all of our subrecipients. So we are in the process of doing that. I was hoping that the module would be up and running by this time. It will not be. So I'm crossing my fingers that it'll be up and running by this time next year, so that it would all be a web-based format. And what would happen is you would all be considered users, and the applications will all be done internally in the system, and then you would go in and review the applications that way. I know that all works because we haven't done that yet. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. We're in the very beginning stages, so I will keep the committee updated as it progresses. So let's hope it all works out the way we want it to, because the Section 5310, it's large in like subrecipients, but it's like low in dollar amount compared to all the other grants that we take care of as the designated recipient. And we know that this is a very important part of our community to ensure that they get what they need when they need it. So we're hoping this will be easier and much more user friendly and easier to fill out and stuff. But it will be a collaboration between the City of Phoenix and MAG going forward.
Great, thank you. That sounds like that might help a little bit. Nancy, does that kind of
Yeah, no,
okay?
thank you for that information. Does that allow for like the form-based applications instead of like Excel sheets?
We have not gotten into
Okay.
it. It's the system is called Black Cat, like black cat. So we just kind of really just started putting like our subrecipients, our balances, that type of thing. So we haven't even we've seen bits and pieces of the system, but nothing on the application side. It's been more of like submitting reimbursements and that type of thing. So hopefully it'll be much easier. But like I said, I'll keep everyone updated once we get moving further into the process.
That sounds
Thank
pretty exciting. Thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate the update on that. Uh, Justin, I saw your hand go up and down a few times. Did you have anything?
Yeah, a couple of comments. Actually, one question and one comment. Good morning, everybody. The question was in reference to the FTA, I believe I heard ADA circular. Is that the change to the entire circular, or is it just specific to 5310, the grant program? Well, and the comment was regarding the actual application itself. I know last year I didn't realize this, but I became appointed a proxy probably 2 weeks before or a week before the applications were due. So I'm not sure how the genesis of this whole process is. I haven't been part of it. Look forward to that this upcoming year. But the application itself it looked like it was missing the appropriate years, which resulted in, I'd say, going through the review process, about half the applications missing information. So it sounds like an easy fix. I'm not sure if we'll have the application updated, and then yeah, just a question on the FTA circular. Is that entirely being reviewed and updated?
Thank you, Justin, Vice Chair, members of the committee. I the, the register, I just really paid attention to the for this program. It is just a update to the circular. I think they will wait until the after the Bills Act in 2026 to put out another circular. They may or may not. This current circular was updated in 2014. And so the Federal Register, just note that they are doing an update and making sure it's consistent. That was the only one major change in 2015 under the FAST Act, that air, regions with populations over 200,000 were able to designate the recipient. But in reviewing over the circular and any major changes is mostly formatting and keeping the information consistent. So, whether there is another revision after the Bills Act expires in 2026, or they just do a continuation. I'm not quite sure where they are on that process. Does that answer your question?
Thank you for the information. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Stephanie?
Yeah, so committee members and Vice Chair Callaway, just to let Justin, about the circulars, it appears like they have updated the circulars relating to both the rural area formula grants and the urbanized area formula grants, which would entail all the other types of funding the region receives. except for the rule, we don't receive any of that. And then also the award management, meaning how we manage the grant once it's awarded by FTA. So they've updated those. I do know, like off the top of my head, one of the big changes is when you dispose of a vehicle prior to, you got to keep if you received over $5,000, you had to make some type of adjustment. Well, they've raised that up now to $10,000. So I know that's one major change. And like Dee Dee was saying, it could be formatting or something like that. So, yeah, and I've been doing grants now for about 19 years, and they've had little changes here and there, but mostly it's formatting and what they require in the actual grant application when you apply to FTA, that type of thing. So nothing really major as far as like what's eligible or anything like that, just to give you a kind of heads up on that.
Thank you. Appreciate the information.
All right, Dee Dee, Stephanie, thank you both. Any other questions or comments? And hearing none, that wraps up item 7. And just a reminder, this was for information and discussion, so no additional action there. And moving on to item 8, if we could have the next slide. And this is request for future agenda items. And if there are any requests from the committee membership for an item on a future agenda, feel free to chime in now.
Vice Chair David Calloway, this is Lindsay Post in Tempe. I will have our last year's round of funding that we give out in our city for these agencies. I'd like to report out on what they did with those funds so that we can move on to our next year's. So I can also send that in via email if you need.
That sounds great. Dee Dee, is that something we could put on the next meeting agenda?
Vice Chair, members of the committee, I am making a note. Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks, Lindsay. And anything else? All right, hearing none. So going on to item 9, which is comments from the committee. Any additional comments or announcements from committee membership today? All right. Looks like we did have some really good discussion today. So I think we probably covered most everything we needed to. So if there's nothing else, I think we can go for adjournment. So the next meeting of the Elderly and Persons with Disabilities Transportation Committee will be on Wednesday, January 8th, 2025 at 10 a.m. Moving into 2025 here real quick. It's kind of crazy. And I guess, Dee Dee, we don't need to motion to adjourn. We can just adjourn, right? All right. So with that, no further business. Today's meeting is adjourned. Thanks everybody for your time, and thank you, MAG and City of Phoenix staff. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have a great
Thank
day.
you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.